Hi everyone, it's Emily Francis with Oh My Malta, and we are here in beautiful sunny Gozo. And we are on a beehive here with Joseph DeBrincat, and he is the founder of Western Meadow Beehives. I have a jar right here. I have so many questions about honey, but I want to start with the value in buying local honey for your immune system. So when I first moved here to Malta, I immediately went and bought local honey from a local beehive because it helps your immune system to a new location. But you tell me why it's so important to buy local.
It has much and lots of benefits for our human body. You said the immune system. It's something which honey really boosts our immune system, and even it's much more good for those who suffer from hay fever.
Really?
Yes, so if you buy, some people don't know these things, if you buy honey from this area and you suffer from the hay fever, this honey will do you much better than buying honey from areas which you don't find these flowers over here. So you have honey coming from the flowers which you suffer hay fever from, so it compensates as an immune system for that hay fever.
So I want to talk about, this is very interesting to me. These are eucalyptus trees, and it is now illegal to plant them, but the ones that are already here are allowed to stay. And even you were showing me that even the trees that are around are different species, even just right here. So the one I'm looking at over here versus the one I'm standing in front of are actually two different species of trees.
In Malta, they started planting those eucalyptus trees back in early 90s. Okay. The local government used to plant these trees in main roads, but then hunters used to plant these trees for hunting turtle doves. There's a bit of debate going on since, there's debate on hunting and even debate on those trees, since they pose a bit of harm to the soil, as they drain lots of waters from the soil, and even the leaves that fall on the soil, they do harm. They release some sort of chemicals. But for us beekeepers, having those trees here in Gozo, they are the only trees that have flowers during the month of August. So having all this dryness around, with bees struggling to survive, it's something that boosts their life, staying alive in August. We don't have much rain here in the Maltese Islands, and for those past 5-6 years, we're seeing a decline in the amount of rainfall. Let's say this year, last rainfall we had was in last January. So January since today, not even one droplet of rain. So you can imagine from where the bees can get their pollen and nectar without having those flowers around. Year after year, we're all even seeing a decline in the amount of honey we harvest, because honey comes not from the bee. The bee produces honey, but the bee needs flowers. The bee needs the nectar and the pollen.
The wildflowers.
Yes, wildflowers. And to have flowers with nectar and pollen, you need to have rainfall. Most importantly during spring, when all the plants are flourishing blooming with flowers. Something which we are facing every year, with having even colonies dying, with lack of flowers around, and even other things which harm bees. Maybe we can talk around them.
I do want to talk about that. So I know that neonaticides, they call them neonates, are poisonous to bees, and the EU has a full ban on neonates. So where you find neonates is back in the United States in homegrown garden supplies. The other problem, so I don't see a lot, where I used to live, I didn't see bees anymore. So moving here to Malta, it was really beautiful to see bees again in my regular habitat, instead of going to find places where bees are being kept. The neonates have a ban in the EU, but you still have to watch out for certain sprays, especially the homegrown sprays, so the herbicides, but they're not as toxic as the neonates, but they still do harm.
Well, to explain more, as you said, in all EU, neonates are banned, and even here in Malta. But still, we have farmers, all farmers nearly, they use the herbicides. Mostly crops being grown here on the island are the fodder for the cows and other animals. mostly wheat. Now we already have a problem because we have shortage of clover being grown as a crop from farmers. They mostly sow the wheat, so they have the fodder for the cows. And we don't have the flowers. So bees don't have much flowers like when going on clovers. But when it comes to spraying herbicides over these crops, wheat, to kill any other weed, unwanted weed, farmers don't take notice what harm is being done to the bees. What am I saying here? They come and spray the fodder with these herbicides during the months of March, late February, March, where these weeds are already having flowers. So I'm having bees going on the flowers, sprayed with herbicides, they go to the beehive and they die there. But I'm not saying that farmers should not spray legally herbicides, but if they use herbicides during the months of December and January, where those weeds do not yet have flowers, then we're not doing any harm for the bees, and they are happy and we are happy as well. So it's like we have to work together. Yes. It's not that easy. And mentioning fodder, in maybe 20 years ago, most farmers used to have clover. Okay. And clover is really rich in nectar and pollen, which if you come here in maybe, well, I do clover myself for my bees. Okay. It's not for my bees because the bee can go far at a radius of 2 miles. So I can have other beekeepers, bees coming on my clover, but if they're close to my beehives, the distance is much closer, so they can travel much, yeah. Well, these are all things that we as beekeepers face. Nowadays we are having our beekeeping association doing agreements with several local councils. So those rural areas, streets, where we have the wild flowers growing on both sides, won't get cut between November and May. So we will still have bees going on those, some compensating, without doing harm to anyone.
I love that. So now I want to go to buying honey at the store versus buying honey from a local beekeeper. And here's the question that, in my opinion, decides. There's a lot of concern with certain honeys that have added sugar. You do not add sugar to your honey at all. Why would somebody add sugar to the honey?
Well, it's business. You want to get rich, okay. So well, lots of people think that all honey is honey. Well, all honey looks like honey, but it's not all honey. And the best thing to buy pure honey is that you find a local beekeeper, a genuine local beekeeper, and you buy honey directly from that beekeeper. Well, those who go to the store, you can find lots of different brands of honey on the shelves, and you can all find of them written pure local honey. But you have to pay attention because most of these, let's say, fake honey, it would be honey, but honey added with some sort of sugar syrups.
And you would find that on the bottom of the jar.
Yes, it would be written there legally. They are legally bounded. Okay. But at the bottom there will be written in very small letters, which no one takes notice of them, that it's not pure honey. Well, to be honest, having a jar of honey, by looking at the honey or tasting the honey, you won't know if it's pure or not. But when it comes to winter, when the weather gets colder, it starts solidifying, it starts getting like solid wax. That's really pure honey. Some people think that when it solidifies and it looks like sugar granules, that means that it's not honey but it's sugar, but it's all the other way around. Okay. When it solidifies, I don't have one I could have shown you. It's really like opening the lid and turn it over, nothing would fall. You have to press the teaspoon to get some honey. That's real pure honey. And the one you have in your hands, that's something I did new this year. It's has some pure honeycomb wax in it. So it's full of honey. I took them directly from the hive. You can eat that as well.
You can eat it?
Yes.
I've always wondered that.
Then you chew that. It's like waxy chewing gum. Then it's either you decide if you want to swallow it or throw it away.
But you can swallow it.
Yes, you can.
Now, when
it's not good though for children under the age of 12 months.
Okay.
Yes.
When you take the honeycomb the bees get sad, or are they okay with that? I've always wondered that.
Well, bees use honey to produce wax. So when we have where they put the honey,
Screen?
no, in the screens, yeah, they have the honeycomb there. When we extract honey, we don't damage the frames. We don't damage the honeycomb they have. We take the honey, we extract honey, then there would be some honey left on them. We put them in the hive, so they would clean them for us, so no honey would be wasted. And we keep that for the next year. When I took this, I destroyed it, sort of, so they would do it again, they would build it again, but it's only I did some for myself.
I want to clarify, when you are shopping for honey, because by law they have to write, so if you see little words here, this is his information. It's not anything, they're not little trick words down here at the bottom. It's his name and his phone number, but by law they have to write if things have been added.
Some others who don't sell pure honey, they don't write their name or address or contact number.
Oh, okay.
So you just buy and you can contact no one.
Now let me ask you this, because I like buzzwords. What are the most important words? Because do we look for natural honey, pure honey, local honey?
Pure local honey.
Pure local honey. So you don't want to, so if you see the words natural honey, is that in your mind like, that's not it?
Well, here on our islands, we use these words, pure local honey. That's the word used in terms of...
So that's what we want to find. So if you can't find a local beekeeper and you're in a store, you want to look for the words pure local honey. So that's really important.
Take notice on the small words beneath. If there's only the description.
So really look into it. Okay. Joseph, it's been such a pleasure having you here. I am so grateful and I can't wait to look at the beehives.